Hello, gents and ladies. It is I, Angel, the YouTuber reviewer, and today is a very special day. Why? Because it is November 13th, and not only that, it is Friday the 13th. I might as well review a movie on this very special day. Why? Because it is 40 years old, and that is the original 1980 Friday the 13th movie. This one, uncut. I'll just go ahead and put a photo up here. This simple low-budget horror film is directed by Sean S. Cunningham and is basically about a group of teenagers being killed one by an unknown assailant while trying to reopen an abandoned summer camp. This movie really came out during the time after the success of Halloween. After the success of Halloween, all you guys I'm pretty sure know what happened to horror films during the 80s. A lot of them copied Halloween, and unfortunately Friday the 13th was one of them. However, it's still a pretty fine horror movie. It's still pretty good for what it is. In all reality, out of all the Friday the 13th movies, this is the best one, considering that it is more grounded. It is honestly a lot more terrifying. I mean, yeah, Jason is terrifying, but he gets really turned into an exploitation type character. I think what helps this movie's grounded reality is the whole handheld point of view of the stalker who is taking out these campers one by one. Also, what's great about this movie compared to the other ones is the kills. Tom Savini does a great job. He's like a makeup artist, horror god in a way. And he really proves it with the makeup effects, especially how the kills are handled. You notice that the kills are very slow, but you can like get that pain with them, especially because the actors are like gagging, they're gasping for air, or they're shocked by the kill, or even when that one beginning girl who got her neck sliced, she was showing like real pain or aggravating pain. While the other Friday the 13th movies, they just show this really shocked, overblown face, and then the score just hits you out of nowhere. Of course, a lot of the other Friday the 13th films were censored by the MPAA. Now, you've seen tons of YouTubers talk about this movie. This is by far one of the most talked about movies in any time during the horror season, especially around October. I thought it would be great because it's Friday the 13th. Might as well review the original. The original one that started off the dozen unnecessary sequels. But hey, it gave us a really iconic character. I will say though, the two biggest pros that really save this movie is one, it's very simple, it's straight to the point. Group of kids going to reopen an abandoned camp. However, there's a killer there, and before they even got to the camp, the townspeople was warning about them because there was a curse. There was murders that happened before the kids got there. There was murders that was happening back 20, 30 years even before the kids got to the camp. And for a simple low-budget film, this is actually pretty good. Like, if you ever thought about writing or wanting to make a low-budget film, I'll definitely watch this one for some notes, because they really try to tackle the fear of a stalker hunting you and your friends in the best way, while also being on a low budget, even though Halloween did a much more better job with that type of genre and the way they try to craft that concept as well. The second biggest pro to this movie, which actually kind of saved this movie into being fine, being good, is Betsy Palmer. Betsy Palmer single-handedly saved this movie when she was revealed in the third act. Her character, which also leads to the big cons, Betsy Palmer had the most character in the whole film, even though she was only in it for about, what, 20 minutes? Maybe 15, 20, 25 minutes? Because the rest of the characters don't have that much character. I mean, unless you look back at some of the backstory between the characters. I mean, the main girl, she's good. She's fine for what she is, but everyone else is just your typical 80s slasher victim. Also, there's not really a lot of story when it comes to it. I feel like the majority or the big chunk of the story happened when Betsy Palmer arrives. She gives the background with Jason, and it just gives you so much of backstory of Jason drowning. He was bullied because he had an unfortunate deformity that led him drowning to his death after being bullied by the kids. I think it's a big plus that they gave Betsy Palmer so much character, is because before the kids even come to arrive to the camp, they were being warned by the townspeople, especially Crazy Ralph. I feel like they were building this whole mythos around the camp about it got a death curse and how all these murders have been happening for over 2 decades. And when Betsy Palmer comes in and she tells her the reason why, it just adds a lot of lore into the Friday the 13th. And that sadly only happens around the third act. Again, the majority movie is just one buildup. I mean, there's not a lot. You get your average teens doing adult stuff, and they even have a whole process of the main girl making coffee. I'm mainly guessing they made that scene to just stretch out the runtime. And of course, I can't avoid the most iconic moment of the whole movie is Jason rising out from the lake. Now, this scene is by far one of the most important and one of the best moments in horror because it is genuinely a unexpected surprise. We already got first 2 acts of a slow building, oh, maybe this will be your typical Halloween ripoff. Then the movie already surprised us with Mrs. Voorhees coming in, and not only that, she's like the best character of the film with an actual emotional motivation that you can kind of, I mean, yeah, she's crazy. She's murdering mass amounts of people, but she has an understanding that she has a motivation that we can probably have some understanding too, in a way. Please don't do things like Mrs. Voorhees. I mean, And it gave us an even more bigger twist that the movie got a little supernatural in, and I love the fact that the movie ended at an ambiguous note. Now, no, yeah, they say that, oh, well, it's a dream, she woke up, and, you know, to me, that's a bad choice. I mean, it would have been great if he dragged her down to the lake and then the movie just ends. That would have been fantastic. I mean, it would still be an ambiguous ending. Yeah, she got down by the lake, but people could probably still save her. And my favorite part of the whole movie is when they left the question up in the air that Jason might still be in the lake, and we don't know if Jason is probably alive, but he's a zombie. But don't worry, we get that answer with all the sequels. Overall, does the original movie has flaws? Yes, but it's not as much as the sequels. It is a very low budget, simple, straight to the point horror slasher film with a very surprising and very amazing last act. Again, the biggest flaws I have is that the first 2 acts aren't as strong as the 3rd act, and if the characters were a little bit stronger, it could have added more to the film, could have added more care, more emotion to the film. But hey, you know, it was 1980. When was Hollywood going to be creative about slasher victims? Or because, you know, blood and gore, that's all we wanted back then, was blood, gore, and adult stuff. It's definitely a very nostalgic film that I can highly recommend, especially, again, if you're going to want to make a low-budget horror film. If you're looking for inspiration, definitely check this movie out. I'm going to give the original 1980 Friday the 13th a 7 out of 10. It is overall good. It's fine. I can watch it. I'd rather watch it than any of the other movies. But there you go. Well, that'll do it for this video, guys. You can go ahead and do the subscribe, the little notification bell. And if you haven't seen my first video, my previous video, you can always check it out. Go ahead. It's right there. It's all on the channel. It's all on the channel. If you click it, much appreciation, much blessings. Again, thanks for watching. This is Angel, the YouTuber reviewer, and I'll see you on the next review, or the next thoughts, or the next video in general. Peace out!